Good evening. Tram and taxi drivers have warned the state government they'll keep striking after a day of disruption in the city. As trams were taken off the tracks, taxis were used to blockade the top end of town, with travellers caught in the middle. State political reporter Andrew Lund.
As trams began returning to depots, taxis started converging on Parliament. By mid-morning, Spring Street had become a giant taxi rank, with parked cabs blockading the top end of town to protest against UberX.
You think we're cowboys? These blokes are even worse. I can tell you.
Taxi owners say they're growing increasingly frustrated by the government's lack of action.
The UberX takes the money off the street, and there are no money for the taxi drivers too. A lot of people contemplate suicide in here. What the government does.
Drivers embarked on an impromptu march through the city, staging a brief sit-in on the empty tram tracks at Flinders Street. Not everyone was impressed.
You taxi drivers don't even know where they actually do.
The Premier warning today's protest may have been counterproductive.
I just respectfully say to taxi drivers today, there'll be a lot of people using Uber today because of the action they've taken. I don't think it suits their purposes. I don't think it suits anyone.
Taxi drivers say they decided to keep today's protest small because of the tram strike, but they've warned there'll be more stoppages from next week.
Will we keep on striking?
The state government says it is working on a solution.
I can appreciate that the taxi industry is frustrated, particularly given that UberX is an illegal service that's operating on the streets.
The Transport Minister was fighting on two fronts today, with tram drivers gathering at Trades Hall. The second strike in as many weeks, catching some commuters off guard.
Slept in today, so that was stupid.
But many made the most of today's sunshine.
Oh well, people can lose some weight, exercise, walking, I don't know.
With tram tracks empty and just a handful of buses to fill the void, it wasn't just passengers lining up to condemn the strike.
This is just appalling for the city.
This is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. We've got a very greedy union that are asking for pay rises that far exceed what the community expect.
But the union says it had no choice.
The only time we've got any movement out of the company, whether it be on conditions or whether it be on the wage offer, has been when we've taken some industrial actions.
It's not ruling out further strikes down the track.
Live now to Andrew Lund. Andrew, 24-hour stoppages could be on the cards.
Well, yes, Pete, that is one of the options that the union wants to keep up its sleeve, although at the moment there are no plans for any more strike action in the immediate future. Talks are due to continue next week, and of course if they don't go well, we could well find ourselves facing more stoppages. The union's certainly not showing any signs of backing down, but in the meantime the system is back up and running tonight and peak hour seems to be travelling well. Pete?
Andrew Lund.